So today has gone from bad to how is this even real life for the Trump campaign? So you have J.D. Vance as part of the Trump campaign strategy following Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Walz around state to state. So J.D. Vance's team literally follows them, and they show up at the airport where Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Walz had just landed. And then J.D. Vance walks with his team, as our editor-in-chief Ron Filipkowski says, Vance with his posse of white dudes today trying to stalk Vice President Kamala Harris at an airport. Creepy. You heard that right. They were walking over to Vice President Kamala Harris's plane because they were trying to inspect it or look at it. And then J.D. Vance then went to the press and said, I want that airplane, or I hope that's going to be my plane next year. I mean, if you're trying to show that you're not creepy and weird, I don't know, stalking somebody and saying you want to inspect their plane is probably not the best way to accomplish it. I'll show you a short clip of this. Here, play it.
All right. So I know you're covering the Vice President here. I figured I'd come by and just get a good look at the plane. Hopefully it's going to be my plane in a few months, but I also thought you guys might get lonely because the Vice President doesn't answer questions from reporters and hasn't for 17 days. Have they given you guys an explanation for why she won't take questions from reporters? No? Nobody? Okay, great. Well, I hope that she changes her mind because it'd be good for the American people, and I think it'd be good for you all if she actually ran a real campaign instead of one from a basement with a teleprompter. So have a good one, guys. See ya.
What would you like to hear from her?
I'd love her to answer some questions. I'd love her to just answer what she wants to do and also explain why every single position she has changed. She pretends to be a prosecutor, yet she pretends to be a tough on crime prosecutor, and yet here she is wanting to defund the police. She's the border czar, and yet she's opened up the American southern border. This is a person who has to answer the questions from the media, and it's disgraceful that she runs for you guys. It's also insulting to the American people. But anyway, we're going to go do our event. I appreciate you guys being here. I wish she paid you some more attention. See ya.
So then Shady Vance, or J.D. Vance, was then giving these speeches in like parking lots. He was doing parking lot speeches, as Liz Cheney wrote. Looks like J.D. Vance brought all his rally attendees to the airport with him today. Because then when he was in Wisconsin and then later in the day he went to Michigan, he's doing these like parking lot events where there's quite literally 10 people in attendance, 10 to 12 people who are there. And by the way, those 10 to 12 people are not supporters. They are the press. And then Shady Vance is just saying some of the strangest things during these like events, if you even want to call them that, with the 10 people there. Like he's saying that he's not going to debate Governor Walz, but he will agree to debate Vice President Kamala Harris because what? Here, Shady Vance, what are you even talking about? Here, play this clip.
Seventh? Okay, so here's my offer to Kamala Harris. If she'd like to do a debate with me on August 13th, I'll do it, right? We should do that, right? I don't think she wants to anymore because, one, she probably doesn't even know that she's going to be the Democratic nominee, and two, we don't know who the vice presidential nominee is going to be either. He's got a lot of skeletons that are coming out of the closet today, and we'll see if the Democrats pull a bait and switch on Tim Walz or on Kamala Harris, just like they did with Joe Biden. But look.
Then you have the Trump campaign spokesperson. This is the official Trump campaign spokesperson. This is what he's been posting today. This is Stephen Chung, the top spokesperson for the Trump campaign, writes Kamabla in green, and then he writes Kamabla. Then he does a Venn diagram that says comma on one side, blah on the other side, and then it says Kamabla in the middle of the Venn diagram. What are you doing? And then Stephen Chung goes to Shady Vance, who was literally stalking Vice President Kamala Harris. Stephen Chung goes, make sure, he's saying this to Shady Vance, hey, J.D. Vance, make sure Air Force 2 is deep cleaned because Lord only knows what Kamala Harris and her team have done on there. The smell alone on that plane must be crazy. What are you talking about? Who are these people?
Hey fam, it's your big boy Bugsy from your favorite new show, Felt the Nation. New episodes every Friday at Fight for Progress. And while I'm here, let me ask you, do you ever feel like you just fell out of a coconut tree? Do you feel like you don't exist within the context of all in which you live and what came before you? Well, try this new Go Cocoa Nuts energy drink. We are never going back to being tired.
So compare Shady Vance and whatever he's doing. They're talking about smelling the air. They're talking about smelling the airplane. Look, as I said on social media, I said, so I just want to get this straight. So Donald Trump's been spending the last few days hanging out with a right-wing streamer at Mar-a-Lago known for butt sniffing and who talked about sniffing the underwear of his own sister, while Shady Vance is stalking Vice President Kamala Harris's plane, and Donald Trump's campaign spokesperson is telling Shady Vance to sniff the airplane and to see what it smells like? How is this even real? And so while Shady Vance is doing that, Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate, Governor Walz, are out there before huge crowds in Wisconsin, massive crowds in Wisconsin. They are, by the way, they sold out of the Harris-Walz camo hats. 3,000 hats sold out in 30 minutes, $1 million worth of camo hats. You've got people dressed like this, white dudes for Kamala Harris out there. And in these huge crowds, you have Vice President Kamala Harris saying this. Play the clip.
I know Donald Trump's tight. I know it's tight. In fact, I've been dealing with people like him my whole career. For example, as Attorney General of California, well, hold on, you know what? The courts are going to handle that part of it. What we're going to do is beat him in November.
You have Governor Walz talking about this. Play the clip.
Now, look, we're pretty neighborly with Wisconsin. We get our friendly battles, but in Minnesota, just like in Wisconsin, we respect our neighbors and the personal choices they make. Even if we wouldn't make the same choices for ourselves, because we know there's a golden rule. Mind your own damn business. Mind your own damn business. I don't need you telling me about our health care. I don't need you telling us who we love. And I sure the hell don't need you telling us what books we're going to read.
And Governor Walz saying, yeah, these MAGA Republicans want to cosplay about the Second Amendment. We should have common sense gun control. Don't lecture me on guns, he says. He goes, I won the top trap shoot competition in Congress. I was the top gun. Here, play this clip.
And just like Wisconsin, over in Minnesota, we believe in the Second Amendment, but we also believe in common sense gun violence laws. And just so you know, when I was in Congress, I was the top gun at the trap shoot 3 years in a row. I can outshoot them, too. I can outshoot these guys.
So you tell me what in the world you think's going on. By the way, here's someone who was attending that event talking about why veterans are rallying around Kamala Harris. Play this clip.
Are extremely important here, and they've got to realize if they want to protect that democracy, protect the Constitution, then we know who the candidate is, and that's Kamala Harris.
Here's an attendee at the Eau Claire event talking about how packed this is. A line 1.5 miles, 2 miles long to get into this event. Here, play this clip.
To have the first stop in your hometown for Harris-Walz, what does that mean?
It means that Wisconsin is a significant place in the entire United States to help decide the future of this election and the future of our country.
To see all these people here, is that a sign?
I've never seen this many cars in Eau Claire. We don't have traffic in Eau Claire. And so today it's a hopeful sign that there's hope on the horizon, and people are eager to turn out for that.
What's your name?
Catherine Emmanuel.
Take care.
And while all of that happened, new audio tape has been unearthed of Donald Trump from 2020 praising Governor Tim Walz for his handling of the George Floyd protests, which MAGA's criticizing Tim Walz for. It's on audio tape. The Trump campaign is in a meltdown mode. Watch this unearthed audio or listen to it. Play it.
I know Governor Walz is on the phone, and we spoke, and I fully agree with the way he handled it the last couple of days. I asked him to do that, and the whole world was laughing. 3 days later, I spoke to the governor. The governor's, I think, on the call, and he's an excellent guy. You've got a big National Guard out there that's ready to come in and fight like hell. I tell you, the best, what they did in Minneapolis was incredible. They went in and dominated. And it happened immediately. Tim is on the phone now, Tim Walz. Again, I was very happy with the last couple of days, Tim. You called up big numbers, and the big numbers knocked them out so fast, it was like bowling pins.
Our city is grieving and in pain. And I would just say, as far as the potential, the peaceful protesters who are expressing an outrage that is real. They witnessed 8 minutes of a man dying in front of them. Well, at that point in time, I did something unprecedented. I mobilized the entire Minnesota National Guard, and that's what the president was alluding to with the size of the force was capable. But I think, again, Mr. President, you asked on explaining this. I would just say it's going to be very difficult. There are bad actors in this, but there is such a legitimate anger. Our real dilemma here is the transition back is to the catalyst that sparked this across the country, and that was what happened with the Minneapolis Police Department. So what we did is a lot of this, what you saw yesterday, was engaging civic leaders and the peaceful protests. And I would just close with, I think the guidance is you got to get a handle on it with that force. That is absolutely correct. And then the transition in the next phase is trying to get those spaces for the peaceful protest. And I'm happy to do things that we have to look at of how do we get reforms.
But, Tim, it showed the incredible difference between your great state yesterday and the day before compared to the first few days, which was just
absolutely.
Never seen that.
Absolutely.
A police force and take it over. And I don't blame you.
By the way, as one person posted, for those wondering, there are couch-style seats on Kamala Harris's Air Force 2 plane. Great point here made by the Mooch, Anthony Scaramucci. He says, so Trump and the RNC have no field offices. Also, a cursory check through social media, specifically Facebook, shows that these Trump ads are down to a trickle, and in many places, these ads are non-existent. The media should be asking the Trump family, what did they do with the money? What did they do with the money? There you have it, folks. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. Can we get to 3 million subscribers together? I think so. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.